Monica Smith came into my life several years later. I was about 15, 16 years old. So from the time I was about 10 to about 15 or 16, again, I was in several different foster homes back and forth between the children's shelter, which really is like a juvenile detention center. They have their own school. You're not allowed to leave. They sort of have their own compound, complex. It was totally, completely gated. There was no leaving the complex. And so from going between the shelter, group homes, and foster homes, I was about 15 years old. I was at a particular foster home that was not going well at all. It was in Morgan Hill, but the school that I went to was in Gilroy, so I would wake up early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, to take a bus to my high school every day, which proved difficult because if you imagine, there's a teenager trying to get up in the mornings, trying to get herself to school. And, I would often miss the bus or have to walk miles to catch another bus. And so I struggled in that high school. I struggled socially because, a lot of the kids in my high school had their own families. They have their own things going on. And, I was this foster kid walking down from the foster home that I was in, sat up atop of a hill. It was a ranch. And so they used to say, who's that kid, who's that black kid always walking down that hill? From that weird looking ranch. So, it was a struggle during that time. But about 15 or 16, when the foster home that I was in, it was not going, it was a very, very toxic environment. But I had a friend in school named Anjali, and she and I became fast friends. And I used to often go to her house, and her mom, Monica, really was, she was a mom. She was the best mom that I had ever seen. Whenever I went to their house, she treated me not like a guest, but I was like one of her other daughters. She had 2 other daughters in the home. And I used to run track and field with her daughters as well. But she used to treat me just like one of her daughters. When I would come over and I would think I could just kick back, she'll say, hey, it's your turn, go wash the dishes. And so I would have to wash the dishes. And so we became really fast friends. She was certainly a mother figure to me. And when the situation in the group home that I was in was very, very toxic, Monica took me in. She decided to become an emergency foster mom, her and her husband, Don Smith, to take me in so I can finish out at least my sophomore year at the high school that I was in.